Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and Gothamites. It is I, Emily Sophia, and I'm going to be breaking down for you guys this evening the latest episode of Gotham. So, spoiler alert before we dive into the mad thick of things, as I will be bearing all in this review. And without further ado, let's get our feet wet, shall we? Let us go in with both feet, with our entire bodies, as this was, most definitely a very diverse and robust episode, and I have lots of different feelings and opinions about lots of different things. So I am going to attempt to break down all of my thoughts and reactions and the things that stuck out to me the most, or stuck out to me and struck me. Both. But of course, if there are any really big aha moments for you guys that I do not happen to discuss in this vlog, we shall take it downstairs to the comments section and have a powwow there. So let us begin with a couple of my favorite moments from the episode, okay? Number one, the Cobblepots getting white girl wasted, both mother and son. I think that was fabulous. Number two, Club Penguin, because I don't know how savvy all of you guys are with internet culture and weirdness, but there is this legitimate MMO game, massive multiplayer online game, called Club Penguin, and it's basically like a giant chat room for children where your avatars are penguins and you play games and you talk to each other, and you can't say things like the B word and the S word, you know, like butt and stupid things of that nature. Anyways, I remember back when I was in middle school, chat rooms were kind of becoming the thing, and they were super scandalous because parents didn't know what to do about them, and it was weird because you, as this little tiny awkward innocent child, could talk to anyone else in the world, and yeah, the whole guise of anonymousness and weirdness. Anyway, Club Penguin, okay, that was immediately what I thought when Oswald went strutting into Fish Mooney's Once Upon a Time territory, which she ended up getting back by the end of the episode anyway, but we'll discuss that later. I just wanted to call it Club Penguin, and it made me laugh a lot, perhaps more than I should have. Anyway, so white girl wasted Cobblepots, Club Penguin, and Alfred wrecking the crap out of Bruce Wayne, the future Batman, the Dark Knight, was savagely burned by his butler. That scene at the fireplace with brooding Master Wayne sitting there with his life in shambles, his ladies left him, there is no truth, there is no love, there is no justice. And that is when our dear friend Alfred steps into the scene, and he's like, hey, you need a broom, or do you need to dwell in your eternal gloom and the demise of your youthful dreams of glory? It was just so, he played that so beautifully. We are to be wed, Alfred and I, just FYI, putting that out there so that y'all can attend. But I'm just saying, you can attend, but you cannot contend with me and Alfred, because we are already an item. It has been decided in my heart, and don't you go thinking about it, because that is not gonna fly. He is mine. I know this to be true. That was probably my favorite moment of the entire show, and I don't think that anything else is ever gonna top it, so take that. It was just, oh man, that Alfred, he is not just butler in my heart, nor is he simply a bodyguard. He is a jack of all trades. He is the James Bond of butlers, and there is no not falling head over heels for this man. And I love the way that they have done this younger version of the character that we've all come to know. He's so, oh man, I cannot. It's too wonderful. Okay, my computer is being weird. Oh, okay. Got it. I think I figured it out. Anyways, so those were a few of my favorite moments from the episode. And of course, I would love to hear what yours were. But so we had a lot of moving pieces this time around. Now, before I go into anything else, I will first discuss some of the things that I found to be kind of frustrating. So, and I think everybody's gonna have a slightly different opinion about this. It really just kind of depends on what your expectations of the show are, but it seems to me like the writers just can't quite commit to a true change of pace for characters. There's a certain status quo, it seems, that everyone is inevitably drawn towards. So we had Jim Gordon at the beginning of the second half of the season. He was in Arkham for all but an episode, And then he kind of started transitioning out as worlds collided and one of the inmates got loose, and so he was on the case because he, et cetera, et cetera. So I understand, but then he was able to get reinstated just like that, and everyone still hates him, and he is still in the business, and I mean, I think that is great for him. He has got commitment, but I'm still a little bit disappointed that they didn't really linger in Arkham Asylum that long. And I mean, I imagine that they're going to return, and I'm not concerned about that in the least. I know that things are going to go back to Arkham at some point. It's just that I was kind of expecting to have this interesting arc and a different scenery for him, different challenges, and he's kind of back where he was. Granted, there are still things that have shifted and tensions are fiercer than ever, but at the same time, it would have been cool to see the writers really commit to having Jim Gordon in this, really fish out of water. And, these fish puns are going to get insufferable the longer that Miss Mooney is in the game. So somebody please seal the deal, because I am going to start hating myself. I think I already do. Anyways, so, and we see that same thing with Fish. What really pissed me off is the fact that we saw the entire, prison sequence, we saw the entire thing in the previews for this episode. There was not a single scene of Mooney in captivity that we didn't see in the trailers all this week. Why would you do that? Why? There's no intrigue anymore if you expose that entire part of the plot. So I found that a little bit baffling, and perhaps that's really not so much the fault of the writers for not committing to have her in this hazardous place. But yeah, I didn't really like the whole way that went down, and it just kind of seems like she's a little bit untouchable. Another aspect of the show that's really bothering me right now is the fact that some of the main female characters in the show, or most of the main female characters in the show perhaps, are really, I'm not as into them, or the way that they are performed. Fish is so all over the place. I mean, she is an aptly named woman because she is flippin' and floppin' every which way in any given moment. She is so impossible to follow, and it is campy in near, if not total, excess, especially in this episode. Although at the very end, we get that kind of tender scene with her and Harvey Bullock down at the dock. My brother and I were joking that she was just going to make a little fishy and swim off into the sea, because she's walking out towards the water at the end, and she says that she's leaving town. So, there's a little bit of a she kind of runs parallel to Penguin, who was sent away at the beginning of the series, and now he's back in town. So I guess it's her turn to get the boot. She's gonna take a little vacay, not so much a staycay this time around. She's going to apparently peace out, recollect herself, and come back swinging or something. I just don't know. This whole thing feels really drawn out. I mean, I'm still interested in it all, namely because the Penguin is an essential, integral facet of everything that's going on, but at the same time it's just like, okay, all right. And so now it's not so much about kicking Falcone out as it is about her getting back at Oswald, suffice it to say, even after he literally lays kisses upon her feet. Well, turns out that she's the one who's skipping town. And I mean, it's just so strange because we get these crazy visceral moments from her, and then all of a sudden she just pulls back and fades into the shadows. And I mean, I don't necessarily know if it's a problem with her character, or perhaps I'm just not following, because I kind of feel that same way about Barbara. I'm just not picking up what she's putting down, and her motives are pretty much untraceable to me, and I don't even really care to pursue them. So that's my problem. But I just hope that these lady characters will get a good treatment over time. Yeah. So those are just a couple of issues that I have, and also still kind of troubled with the way that Zaz is portrayed. Again, it's really strange to see him wielding guns and flanked by these like dark fashion models with guns. And I mean, just the whole scene of him descending upon Mooney's lair and the whole shootout was just a little ridiculous. It was so staged, like they were all in a line. Nobody was bothering to hide from anybody's bullets. It's like they looked like a bunch of showgirls that were lined up to do the can-can, not waging a freaking all-out underground war. That's really not the vibe that I was picking up. But of course, it was very interesting to have Mooney's Club Penguin as the stage, quite literally, for all of these happenings, because we see things. The power pendulum completely shifts over the course of this entire episode. And we don't even get to see what's going on with Morrissey and Falcone right now. They're not even in the picture. I mean, again, they're the old money. They're the old bosses. And this is where all the volatility is and all the energy. And this is ground zero for the new Gotham, I think. So as to when we're going to get an all-out surface war that is not just below the board, we'll see when that comes. Because apparently Fish is fishtailing away on out of this business to get herself back on top from a distance. So it really is interesting, and yet strange how quickly everything changes but then stays the same. And I'm sitting here trying to figure out, like, okay, where all has everything gone since the start? I mean, I'm still interested, and the performances are still great and fantastic and humorous. But yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see where we actually end up and what the implications for the future are going to be. So, yeah, we had a little bit of Selena Kyle back on the scene, but she pretty much just stayed long enough to tell Bruce to GTFO. Because no, she does not know his parents' murderer, and she lied, and she's a little bit fed up. I mean, I kind of like the way that Selena Kyle's character is being portrayed and done so far. I mean, I like that she's very distrustful of the wealth that Bruce tries to extend to her in what she perceives as charity, and she knows the instability of this world, and so I think it's very interesting to see kind of her social system and the way that it collides and clashes with Bruce's. And I wonder at what point are they going to be set in their course of villainy and, you know, good and evil. At this point, they're still kind of fluctuating and crossing paths, and there's still such a sense of uncertainty, and Bruce is still trying to find his way in the world, albeit with his bouts of moodiness and despair, which Alfred is not afraid to give him a good roast for. And that makes me really happy. I love that. That was a glorious moment. Truly glorious. Yeah, so, and then as far as things with Jim Gordon go, we get to see yet again the crazy rampant corruption of the GCPD and his insistence upon writing this system, but he's not making any friends. He is sure dang lucky that he's got Harvey by his side to consistently yell at him and receive nothing but the same response time and time again in return. Theirs is quite a transcendent connection, because you would think that Harvey would be real done with this shit by now, but he remains faithful to some extent. Yeah, but he is Sasha fierce. I must say, there is no ceasing this man. He is hungry like the wolf when it comes to his justice, and I will be interested to see where exactly that's going to lead him over time, and what is going to give this man pause, because he's all claws. That is just about it. But it's good to see in this crazy labyrinthian world that someone like Gordon is so willing to cut through all the red tape. And he is there in the thick of it. He cannot be stopped. He cannot be made to not care about bringing everything into the light. And that's a very dangerous quality to have, but it is something that so completely defines Gordon that we feel like we really know him as a character. Although they really need to steer clear of all those awkward, silly, campy interrogation montages, because they don't always work. They keep doing that for some reason, and I don't know how I feel about it. It's just a little bit wonky. Also, we had some sweet, tender moments with Mr. Nigma romancing Miss Kringle, and kind of adorable. He's a hopeful man. There's a way out of the friend zone yet for this guy. I mean, Kringle is kind of surrounded by all these macho man cops, and so she's sort of trying to find her footing with Nigma, because there is a very off-putting charm about him, but a charm nonetheless. And I think that she registers that, and she kind of wants to see more into that, but she fears everything floating around the nucleus of his perhaps golden sweetheart. But of course, someday it is going to be enshrouded in evil. Maybe not yet. But yeah, so good performances there. Yeah, just a very hectic, crazy week, and things are moving, but then also kind of staying the same, and I don't know what's going on. But what did you guys think? Please let me know all of your thoughts and feelings and everything's in the comments. I would love to chat with you guys there, and again, anything that I may have missed, you all know what to do. So thank you so much for watching this week. It's great to be back. I can't wait to take on more shows. The Walking Dead is super soon. What is today? Today is the 26th. Just a couple more weeks, guys. And then Better Call Saul as well. So we're gonna have a party, okay? All right. Well, all my love to you guys. Lots of new videos are in store, and I will be back before you know it.
Not only for the lone white wolves who cry.